Visiting with Sheridan head coach Jeff Mowry ahead of the big game against Thunder Basin on Friday night. You're going to Gillette. You just come off a big win, Jeff. Give me a sense of what you saw in your team in that win last week over the defending champion and number one ranked at the time, Natrona County Mustangs.
You know, I was really pleased. We had a week 2 in Cheyenne Central that had some weather delays and some lightning, and I thought our kids really played kind of sluggish. We just didn't execute on all cylinders, and so didn't have that growth between weeks 1 and 2 like we had liked. And so we were a little frustrated, and the kids were frustrated after week 2 in Central. So we had a good week of practice last week and came out and really put things together, I thought, pretty well on Friday night. You know, it wasn't a full-strength Natrona team. They were missing the leading rusher in 4A from a year ago at a tailback. And so, you know, he was injured and we didn't have to face him. But I thought our kids played well and really executed what we had asked them to do, and it showed at the end of the night.
As you come off that game and get ready for another big game, give me a sense of just where you feel your team is at here after the first few weeks and where maybe you've seen the most growth and if there's any areas of concern, Jeff.
Oh, there's definitely both. You know, we've seen some areas of growth. We've had some young kids really step up, and the seniors on our team have been accepting. You know, sometimes you have a group of seniors that doesn't want to see those underclassmen succeed, and this group of seniors who are our leaders have really welcomed those underclassmen to step up and invited that. And we saw that coming true. You know, a sophomore scores the first touchdown of the Natrona game, and it was really good to see those young kids grow. Areas of concern is that same thing. We've got a lot of young kids playing and some inexperience that we've got to develop and develop depth with those younger kids. You know, we can't just rely on our senior leadership to win every single football game. We've got to rely on those younger kids and continue to grow them, you know, through these tough games like last week and another one coming up this week.
What are you seeing out of Garrett? Off to a fantastic start his senior season. He's been playing at a high level now for a couple years. What have you seen in terms of his development, even from his junior year to his senior year?
You know, his role on the team has definitely changed. He came in as a sophomore, started at middle linebacker, led the state in defensive points, and was kind of a you know, behind-the-scenes tackler. He didn't have to take on the front lines, and he wasn't a senior. You know, he was a role player and a very good one at that. His junior year, then he moved into a little more offensive role and still secured his spot at the Mike linebacker and did a tremendous job in year 2. Now as a senior, you know, we really push our seniors as the leaders of our team, and he's no longer simply a role player. He is a leader as a senior on our team, and he's had to step out of his comfort zone a little bit. He's not a big rah guy, vocal guy, and he's had to, you know, to develop that senior leadership, call out a few guys, and really be a leader by example on and off the field, and he's done a tremendous job of doing that. He's got excellent football skills, and now his leadership skills are coming along with that. He's a tremendous asset to our program.
You come off one big game and you get ready for another one. Is there some good things about that so you can kind of keep the focus of the guys coming off such a big win?
You know, we really try to focus on ourselves week to week, and no matter who we play, we've got to focus on getting ourselves better. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Thunder Basin or Natrona. You know, absolutely, our kids know that it's Thunder Basin week, and they've had this date circled for a long time, since last November, and so will they be ready for us? Yes, and there's probably a little bit of sense of urgency on both squads, but at the same time, we focused on what do we have to get better from the Natrona game and previous weeks, and what do we have to continue to develop to finish this season. This isn't a 4-week season. You know, our season doesn't end on this game, whatever happens Friday night. There's a lot of season left to play, and into the playoffs, hopefully. We're in this thing for a long run, not just a one-game show. So we've got to continue whatever happens this Friday night to better ourselves and make us into the best team possible come November.
Speaking of that, it is a big game between you and Thunder Basin. Obviously, you split last year. You guys got the big road win in the semifinals in the playoffs. Has this kind of become a little bit of a bigger rivalry, even though there still is the Energy Bowl with Campbell County?
I don't even know if we asked our players who our rival was. I don't know if they would have an answer. You know, they want to compete with the best, and it doesn't matter what year. You know, Natrona is always up there. Thunder Basin's been up there recently. Cheyenne East is up there, and so I think if you asked our kids who's our rival, we might get different answers out of all our kids. And so we try to teach our kids that if we proclaim to be one of the better programs in the state, we've got to be ready to take on the best programs in the state. And so when you mention Natrona County, Thunder Basin, Cheyenne East, and other teams that are coming along. We want to challenge the best, and so that's what we want. I don't know, if Sheridan has so much of a rival specifically anymore with 2 high schools in Gillette and 2 in Casper. We just got to take on the best and go attack.
Certainly understand that. Lastly, what are you looking at when you see Coach Pikula's squad and what you're preparing for Friday night?
Well, offensively, absolutely a juggernaut on offense. They run the ball right now at like a 9-yard average. They sling the ball all over the place and score touchdowns from any spot on the field. And so we're not going to stop their offense. We can hopefully contain them a little bit. That's our goal there. Is what they do on offense is absolutely incredible. They just score points and rack up yards. And so hopefully we just got to contain him and see if we can disrupt Mason Hamilton, who just will pick you apart if we let him sit in the pocket. So hopefully we can get him out of his pocket and force some things a little before he's ready. Defensively, they're an aggressive defense and fast and physical. We've got to match that intensity on offense, and hopefully, the best defense against a good offense is to keep our offense on the field. So hopefully we can put some drives together and keep Mason Hamilton and that offense off the field as much as possible.
Jeff, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck Friday night against Thunder Basin.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good day.
Visiting with Trent Pikula, head coach of the Thunder Basin Bolts, coming off a big win last week, Coach, on the road at third-ranked Shine East. I know you guys are the new #1 team. Rankings probably don't matter to you, but what did you see out of your squad in responding after you got down early against East and then came back to win that game?
Well, I think we talked about perseverance and resiliency after the game, just talking about, everybody just gave it up for each other. I mean, we played as a team, which is something that we stress all the time, that we can't have individuals on our team. And they just went out and played for each other. We could have got down. We had some really silly mistakes, and East really kind of put it on us there for a while. But they just hung together and just absolutely played for each other, and that was really good to see.
I know you guys had a lot of good skill guys coming back, including Mason Hamilton, Blaine Allen, but what have you seen from your lines and having to replace some guys that departed that have been stars for you the last couple of years? What have you seen up front, offensive line, and then maybe kind of your front seven on defense in terms of improvement through these first few games?
Well, offensively, we obviously knew that was going to be a big area for us. We had to replace 4 guys, and our 1 returner had knee surgery, and he won't be back until next week. And so we knew that it was going to be probably a slow process with those guys. They all played there last year at different times, but we're just backup guys, JV guys. And so it's been a process with the offensive line. We've really kind of break things down every week, and we really try to walk and talk through possible situations that they're going to see, and they're getting better. It's just a matter of the speed of the game, understanding what the blitz fronts are coming at you and things of that nature. So I think each and every week we're getting a little better. And last week against East, they really put a lot of pressure on us, and in the second half we responded. The first half they caught us off guard. But, defensively, our linebacking crew, I think, is as good as we've ever had. We're obviously a young school, but they're as good as we've had. Caleb Driscoll, Colton Randall, and Hunter Lumber just flat out get after people. There are some playmakers back there. And then up front, we have 4 guys, and we actually rotate about 8 guys through there. And it really doesn't matter which 8 are on the field. I think they do a really nice job. They attack, they provide double teams so the linebackers can run, and they can put pressure on the quarterback just out of a 4-man front. So that really helps us out.
You move from one big game to another big game. Is that nice in a sense of you can keep the players' attention after a big win last week?
I think, it is nice to – last week I said this is what we need. We need challenges. We kind of had our way with the first 2 teams we played, and we needed East to prove to ourselves where we were. And I think that's how we feel about Sheridan as well. I mean, a Sheridan program is consistently one of the best in the state at any class, and the tradition that they have is amazing. And so for us, it's a great measuring stick to go in, and it's our homecoming, and it's so there's a lot of things riding on this game, not only through the state, but just for ourselves, just to prove again that last week, we came back, we played well, but now we got to play well for 4 quarters. And so, yeah, it's a big game, and we're excited. And plus, it's Gillette versus Sheridan, so yeah, that's always something as well.
I was going to say, has this game kind of replaced the old Energy Bowl, and do you feel like you kind of get a vibe of that each time you play the Bronx?
Well, it'll never replace the Energy Bowl. It's just simply because Campbell County Sheridan, that's always going to be that rivalry. But I think it's definitely a rivalry for us, and I think Sheridan feels the same way. You know, we were 1-1 against them last year, and unfortunately, we lost the more important one. But anytime these two teams get together, whether it's in football, baseball, soccer, basketball, it's just a matter of, you know, again, Gillette versus Sheridan. They grew up playing against each other from a young age, and both teams really want to win. It's a big game for both schools, and so yeah, it's something that we look forward to, and it's a game that I think our kids really get up for.
What do you look at when you see Coach Mowry's squad this year?
Well, you know, just like last year with Parker Christensen, you know, Garrett Kuhn is that type of kid. Both sides of the ball. You know, he's a great running back. He leads scoring and rushing, and then defensively, he's everywhere. You know, he really controls the run game because of his ability to come downhill and tackle people. Obviously, he's the quarterback of that defense, and so first and foremost, we got to stop him and we got to block him. You know, and those are things that teams haven't been able to do yet. So, you know, that's something that we have to be able to figure out how to do. Jacob Boynt's a good quarterback. I mean, he sits back in the pocket. He has great command of that offense. And obviously, I think they want to run the football, but they're very comfortable standing back and throwing the football, and they've got some guys that can go get it. So, you know, they're definitely not one-dimensional. I think they'd rather run the ball than throw it. But so we have to be able to try to limit what they do in their run game, and hopefully when they do throw the ball, our DBs in the back end can step up and make plays, and we need also, you know, we need to get to Jacob as well with our front four or through a blitz package, but we need to try to put a little pressure on him.
Coach, I greatly appreciate the time. Best of luck on Friday night.
Absolutely, David. Thanks for having me.